Did ancient humans start smoking thousands of years before cigarettes existed? Yes, but not the way you're imagining. No cigarette packs, no lighters, no gas stations, no guy outside a building saying, "I'm quitting next week." Long before modern tobacco, long before paper, long before anyone had even invented writing, humans were already breathing smoke into their bodies. Sometimes by accident, sometimes on purpose. And here's the weird part. At first, it wasn't about looking cool, it wasn't about stress, it wasn't even always about pleasure. For ancient humans, smoke could mean warmth, safety, healing, spirits, survival. So why would a human being willingly breathe in something that burns their eyes, fills their chest, and makes them cough like they're dying? The answer is older, stranger, and way more human than you think. Let's go back, way back. Before cigarettes, before farms, before cities, before anyone had a word for addiction. For early humans, fire was one of the most powerful things on Earth. Fire cooked food, fire scared away predators, fire kept people warm at night, fire turned darkness into something humans could survive. But fire had a price, smoke. Imagine living in a cave or a small shelter with a fire burning nearby for hours. The ceiling turns dark, the air gets thick, your eyes sting, your throat burns. You cough, but you don't walk away because outside the firelight there might be freezing wind, wild animals, or total darkness. So you stay. That means some early humans probably grew up breathing smoke almost every day, not because they were smoking like modern people, but because their homes, their camps, and their survival depended on fire. To us, smoke feels like danger. To them, smoke meant the fire was still alive. That's the first strange truth. Before humans smoked plants on purpose, humans were already smoke-exposed creatures. Fire changed our food, our sleep, our safety, and probably our lungs. But accidental smoke is not the same as smoking. So when did humans start breathing plant smoke on purpose? This is where the story gets wild. In the Great Salt Lake Desert of Utah, archaeologists found tiny charred tobacco seeds in an ancient hearth. Not a cigarette, not a pipe, just burned seeds near the remains of a human camp. The date? Around 12,300 years ago. That is older than the pyramids, older than writing, older than the wheel. Think about that. Humans were using tobacco before they were writing history down. No one carved first smoke break onto a stone wall. No one left a warning label, but those little burned seeds tell a huge story. Somewhere near that ancient fire, a human group had tobacco. Maybe they chewed it. Maybe they burned it. Maybe they used it in a ritual. We can't know every detail. But we do know this. Tobacco mattered enough to be brought into human life very early. And it wasn't modern tobacco. There were no neat cigarettes, no filters, no perfect white paper, no factory-designed addiction machine. Ancient smoking, when it happened, would have looked rough. Leaves burned in fire, smoke inhaled through tubes, reeds, pipes, or directly from burning plants. Sometimes it may not have looked like smoking at all. It may have looked like a healer standing over a fire, guiding smoke towards someone's body. Because in the ancient world, smoke was not just smoke. Smoke was a message. Smoke moved upward. Smoke disappeared into the air. Smoke came from fire, and fire already felt magical. So to ancient people, smoke could seem like a bridge between the human world and the invisible world. If someone was sick, smoke might be used to cleanse them. If a group was afraid, smoke might be used to protect them. If a healer wanted to enter a different state of mind, smoke from certain plants might help create visions, dizziness, or intense sensations. Today we hear that and think, that's not medicine. But imagine having no hospitals, no antibiotics, no x-rays, no pharmacy, no explanation for infection, fever, seizures, dreams, or hallucinations. If someone became sick, ancient humans didn't see bacteria. They saw mystery. And when humans don't understand mystery, they create meaning. That's why smoke became medicine, magic, and ritual all at once. Some groups believed smoke could drive bad forces away, others used it to bless spaces, bodies, tools, or ceremonies. In many cultures later in history, tobacco became sacred, not casual. That's hard for modern people to understand because today smoking is mostly connected to stress, addiction, and disease. But ancient smoking was often social and symbolic. It wasn't one bored person hiding behind a building, it was a group sitting together. A pipe passed from hand to hand, smoke rising from the center of the circle. A ritual that said, "We are together, we are protected, we are connected to something bigger." That's the second strange truth. Smoking was not always an individual habit. For many ancient people, it was a group experience. In parts of the Americas, tobacco later became deeply tied to ceremony, healing, diplomacy, and communication with spirits. Leaders, healers, and priests used smoke not just because of what it did to the body, but because of what it meant to the community. A pipe was not just a pipe, it could be a symbol of peace, a symbol of prayer, a symbol of respect, a symbol of power. Now compare that to today. A person lights a cigarette because they're stressed after work. Another person vapes because they're bored. Someone else smokes because they can't stop. Same basic act, inhale, exhale, repeat. But the meaning has completely changed. Ancient smoke said, "I'm entering a sacred moment." Modern smoke often says, "I need 5 minutes to survive my day." That's a massive shift. But tobacco was not the only plant humans burned and inhaled. Across human history, people have used smoke from many different plants for pain, rituals, cleansing, and altered states of mind. Some plants were burned because they smelled strong, some because they seemed to calm people down, some because they made people feel strange, lightheaded, dreamy, or closer to the spirit world. To an ancient healer, that effect could feel powerful. Imagine someone with a painful injury. No anesthesia, no pills, no clean surgery, just pain, screaming, and panic. If smoke from a plant made that person calmer, sleepier, or less aware of pain, it would feel like a miracle. Was it perfect medicine? No. Was it safe? Not always. But ancient humans used what they had: leaves, roots, bark, fire, breath, belief, and belief mattered. Because when a whole group believes a ritual will help, the ritual becomes part of how they survive fear. That's something modern people forget. Ancient medicine was not just about curing the body, it was about calming the group. A sick person scared everyone. A strange disease scared everyone. A bad hunt scared everyone. Smoke gave people something to do, a ritual, a pattern, a feeling that they were not helpless, and humans hate feeling helpless. That might be the deepest reason smoking survived for so long. It gave people control, even when control was an illusion. But then something changed. As humans built farms, villages, cities, and trade routes, plants like tobacco became more than sacred tools. They became valuable goods. People could carry them, exchange them, offer them, trade them. A tiny dried plant could travel farther than the person who picked it. And once something becomes valuable, humans start spreading it. That's when smoke begins moving from sacred ritual toward habit, trade, power, and eventually business. The modern cigarette is not just an ancient habit, it is an ancient ritual turned into a product. That's what makes the story uncomfortable. Humans didn't invent smoking in a factory. Factories just made it faster, cheaper, stronger, and easier to repeat. The impulse was already there: the need to calm ourselves, the need to change how we feel, the need to gather around fire, the need to turn pain into ritual, the need to breathe something in and believe for a moment that it can carry something out. Stress, fear, sickness, bad luck, evil spirits, loneliness, different words, same human brain. So when did ancient humans start smoking? The most solid evidence for tobacco use goes back around 12,300 years. But humans were breathing smoke from fire long before that, and using smoke in ritual and survival probably has extremely deep roots. The cigarette is modern, the relationship with smoke is ancient, and that's the real twist. Ancient humans didn't first meet smoke as a bad habit, they met smoke as warmth, as safety, as medicine, as mystery. As a bridge between life and whatever they thought waited beyond it. We kept the smoke, but we lost the sacred meaning. Somewhere between ancient fires and gas station packs, smoking stopped being a ritual and became a routine. It stopped being about spirits and became about stress. It stopped being a circle and became a lonely break outside. Same smoke, different soul. So maybe the real question isn't, When did ancient humans start smoking? Maybe the real question is, why did humans never stop trying to change the way they feel? Did this surprise you? Drop a comment with the fact that shocked you most. And if you want your mind blown again, watch our video about the first humans who discovered alcohol by accident.